Blitzers, it's Ronan. Welcome back to the Nerf Clan YouTube page. Today we're reviewing the T32 American Tier 8 Heavy. Used to be one of the better tanks in the game. It's still very good. And we had a request for a review, so I appreciate the request. Let's take a quick look at the parameters of the T32. We'll do a quick comparison, and then we got 3 excellent games for you to watch. First, this is how I run the tank on the left-hand side. Strongly recommend to use the enhanced sandbag armor. You see, it takes your hit points to 2,072 if you run improved assembly as well. A good way to run the tank. Everything else relatively standard. The one thing I would do, however, is I would use calibrated shells. The pen on this tank is awful. 208 for AP, 257, and 58 for HE. I think you will need to use the rammer, even though it doesn't have heat. That is a personal preference. If you think you can get the shots in without it, go for it. With this, the DPM of the tank is about 2,000. Pen, as I mentioned, 208, 310 for the AP. The velocity of the tank when supercharged is 1229. That is nothing special, and it's got a pretty good pen loss over distance as well, which is not the best. Gun handling is good for a heavy, 2.11. It's number 8 of 33. Dispersion is not great. The problem with the tank is, as you'll see, is the DPM is okay, but the alpha is low, and it does not have terrific dispersion. So you're not really getting a great, kind of juice for your squeeze with the cannon. The gun depression, it has -10 +20. It is one of the best haul down tanks in the game if used correctly, and you will see that in some of the replays. And then the forward speed is 35, reverse is 14. That's just okay, nothing special there. And then I'll jump to the armor really quickly. This is a turret. This is arguably the best turret in the game. Haul down, you will not pen this tank if it is properly hauled down. Possibly at a couple of spots you might get very lucky in the couple or something, but in general, this turret is one of the absolute best turrets in the game. So your objective needs to be get haul down. You get haul down with this thing, you are going to do all kinds of things. Other than haul down, it's got a very soft lower plate, upper plate that can be penned, sides that are not great, and rear that is just okay. So get this thing haul down. Look at that turret. Very quick comparison here between all the other Tech Tree tanks that you were looking at. The best comparator to the tank is probably maybe the Tiger 2 or something like that, although it doesn't have a -10. And what you see is quite a bit of green here, particularly around the DPM, pen, etc., and the alpha. And the green is actually bad in this perspective because green means that the other tanks are better. Where this tank has red, meaning it's better, is on things like gun depression and camo, although that's not super accurate. It's got a decent power to weight ratio as well. It compares fairly well, and I find the tank to be relatively quickly. So let's jump into some replays and see how it does. Okay, first game, Himmelsdorf with Renee. Tuning with me, with Ronan here. Renee has a terrific game here and terrific camo from the new Battle Pass. So first thing you'll see with Renee is he goes to what I call the power spot here at Himmelsdorf. A great spot when you have a turret like this. And without fear, he sticks out in front of an ISU 152 with the BL-10. He gets popped for 200. That is HE splash. And that's about all you're going to get when you splash the turret of this thing, is about 200 HE. You know, Renee made a calculated risk that was worth, and even though in the trade, you're hitting that ISU pretty hard. You got about 1,000 more hit points than the ISU. So it's a good opportunity to make those count. There is an HE bounce. That is 960 bounce. Look at this turret and look at how Renee uses it to get some damage. So I'm actually pushing up here behind Renee, trying to help him with the IS-3. He's facing 5 enemies all at once, but Renee has no fear, and there I go overextend myself, although I think I actually bounced the Borsig shot. I really wanted to clear that Borsig there, as Renee and I were working on a bunch of tanks, and having a filthy Borsig around there to shoot us did not help. But so far, Renee and I have lost almost nothing. You just see Renee bouncing, and you know, one of the tricks is this 5100 is not a good player, and he just doesn't understand how good this turret is. So Renee and I are just side by side here, picking apart the 75 TS, the IS-3. The TS does get a shot there. It's got a terrific cannon. That's not overly surprising. And just picking these guys apart. In fact, they gave up, and what you can't see right now is I turned around behind Renee and protected his rear end. His rear end is not a particularly good rear end and needed protecting. So I went back there. I knew he was hauled down and he could take apart this TS. He did get a shot there, both ways, 355. I would say this close to the TS will be able to shoot your your couple left. So you do have to be aware at that range with a good cannon, they will eventually be able to pen you. But you should also be able to do a lot of damage to them. Rene gets a shot here on the IS-3, and I love the sequence here, and then goes for the ram kill of the Domborsig and finishes him off. Very, very well done there, using the tank's mobilities. I mentioned the tank is fairly mobile. Use that as an opportunity. Snapshots, the ISU-152. Rene would have probably mastered this if not for what happened here. So Rene runs at this ISU. The game's already over. He gets shot and gets tracked and misses a shot. I finished the ISU or the SU off, but unfortunately that may have cost Rene the mastery. Although as you see there was an SU-152 on our team who probably would have claimed it. Strong game by Rene, nearly 3,200 damage. You could see that there's an MC1. I will say this tank is relatively easy to ace right now, so if you are needing to have another mastery in your list, go for it. Next two games are huge games. The next one is by Boom Hump in Castilla. Both games are in Castilla. I don't know Boom Hump, but he is a good player. And good things about the next couple of games. These are both on the top 10 North American damage for the T32. Good practice to see how to cause a lot of damage with this. I will say the way these guys are running the tank, it's a little bit different than how I would play it. They're playing both examples. They do use the gun depression. They do use its armor well, but they're playing it more aggressively than I think you need to play it. I think this is a great tank to gun, just like Rene just played it there. Find a haul down spot, do block like 2,000 damages with your turret, and then attack. Both of these guys are a little bit more aggressive. Now, so Boom Hump here has got a Boom Hump. I keep on mispronouncing it. Boomy. Boom has got a position here where his entire team went to the A cap. This is one approach at Castilla that can work. It can also fail, but it can work. And I don't like to do it from the side that they did it on, but nonetheless, the team more or less committed. And you can see the enemy team did not commit. They are split, which is the standard kind of Castilla heavies on the seaside kind of, although they don't have any heavies over there, but you know, you get my point. Nonetheless, he found himself, Boomy here found himself a Lorraine, who was actually not in a bad position, but not a great position versus Boom, and he sticks it with an AP shell. You should have used HE there in the rear of that Lorraine. And he's quickly trying to make his way with it. The problem is with this T32, and you see the problem Boom is having here is, other than the turret, you do not have great armor. And that Lorraine is out of there using the insane speed of that tank to get out. Meanwhile, he's got a couple of, I guess, helpers here in the Ferdinand, the T49. I mean, he found himself an RU, and this is where you get to use the gun depression. So that there is some spots there that you can use. The problem is the RU can shoot its hull, and because he was higher up, the RU went up on that hill. Nice job there, Ferdinand. The RU went up on that hill, and on the opposite end, and by being on the hill, they can actually shoot the upper plate of the tank. So you got to know these little tricks and blitz of when someone can angle and shoot you at certain places. You could be hauled down. He was hauled down to the ISU, in which he killed very nicely, but he was not hauled down to the RU. Nonetheless, the RU scurried out of town. It's a 4-on-4 right now, and Boom's already up to 2,000 damage. He's got a Luger that's not paying any attention to him and just lets him and the enemy's farmer, but now it is a 3-on-3, and there's a pesky T28 defender here who also doesn't charge him, which I can't say I understand why the T28 defender chose to go after, I can't see what that tank is right now, but chose to not attack Boom here because he was probably clearable, and then he left himself open. So Boom, that's the T49. So that idiot just tunneled the T49, giving Boom a hump here a chance to actually attack the T28 defender, which he does, and he clears him. Now this T25 AT should be drawn, quartered, shot, burned, and just poured like hot oil on his body. He is one of the most ridiculous plays I've seen in a while here. He just backs off and hides over there. I have no idea what he was trying to do. And Boom Hump here probably pressed for help and attack at least 10 times, where that T25 defender just sat back and did nothing. It's unbelievable. He just sat over there. I don't know whether he was trying to do something, but he literally left Boom here against an RU-251, that same RU-251 from earlier. And that tracking right there probably was what single-handedly won him the game. The other problem that Boom is having here is the points. They have two bases, so they are already at 836. There's a beautiful bounce there on that turret. The AT-7 on the opposite team is not a good player, but an AT-7, the problem with the AT-7, you can't just shoot that tank. You have to aim. That takes time, and he was shooting. So Boom did what was really smart here is clear the RU. Points are still a problem, and that T25 AT, I point out, is still not back. Still over there. That guy should be banned. It should be banned for that. But nonetheless, he's given Boom the opportunity to do all the damage here, and he does. if you've watched and been around Blitz for a while, you'll guess when this T25 AT comes back. He finally just came back now that it's a 2-on-1. Don't worry, he'll get the kill. Probably bragged to his friends about a great game he had too. T25 AT, go to hell. Boom Hump, terrific game. Mastery, 53-21 damage, 3 kills, 14-19 base, terrific game. Von Fish Shithead, die. Terrible player. Boom Hump, great player, great job. Back to Castilla, we are with the ultimate player, and he's playing Castilla a little bit differently. So he's going to the traditional heavy side here. And the ultimate player clearly knows what he's doing. He's got himself an Action X as a friend. They split the traditional way, except for one heavy on their team is actually going to the medium side. This cannon is accurate enough. It's got good enough dispersion, and it's got a decent aim time that you can get some shots here on the castle, on the church. And that's what he is trying to do here as best he can. But I will say for heavy players, this is exactly the right way here. When you see that the action is over there, you are with you're with a TD, you've got 3 or 4 mediums over there, you got 2 guys who are capping the base for no reason. You got to make the adjustment here. And I think what you'll see here, the player does really well is he goes, I need to go help my team. I need to get out of dodge and go help them. You could get some shots there, but you're probably going to hit, 50% of your shots. And when you're only hitting 50% of your shots, you're doing like 1,000 DPM. Not a great thing. You're not really helping your team by doing that. So go, just like he does here. So the player jumps down here and runs to where the T32 can help. And there's a lot of good spots in Castilla for a haul down king like the T32. I will say, as you watch this game, he actually doesn't really use the haul downness of the tank very much, but he just uses the tank as a forward weapon. It is a tier 7, 6 and 7, or 7 and 8 battle, so you can be more aggressive here. Gets the Tiger P in the side. He's fortunate that T28 defender did not catch him earlier. He could have done a lot of damage to him. To our player here, but nonetheless, there's an IS. I think there's an IS-5 out of position there, IS-6 actually, and he is taking advantage of that. It is an IS-5 without camo. Is always the mark of a great player when they don't use camo. That's sarcastic. So using the gun elevation there, 20 gun elevation is also nice. Putting some really easy shots, and he's really well protected there. And there comes a FE301, but they are after this AT-15, which is a good tank to have on your side. The guy's not a good player, but he was absorbing a lot of shots. Now, what do you do when you have a great tank that is got a terrific turret? You face hug. So this is what a superior player does. He's not trying to shoot the IS-5. He's trying to get the FE301, but he's face hugging the IS-5 so he does not get pinned. Brilliant playing there. Not that brilliant, it's relatively common, but smart move there. And he's still alive. There goes the IS-5. The IS-5 has a very poor gun depression. Now, the only problem that he's having is he can't also shoot the IS-5 very easily. However, he is able to get his gun down. Now it's a 1-on-2, and this is where the insanity begins. So 1-on-2, and that guy's got 1,450 hit points. To our hero here with 544. Now, he takes a smart shot there and clears the J Panther. That was crucial. And there again, he goes for the face hug. So earlier I made a stupid comment that he really wasn't using the turret, but that's actually all he was doing. He just wasn't hauled down behind a hill. And he is now using the turret here as his battling ram. Gets a shot off. If he was counting the shells of this T28 defender, that is brilliant because he knew he had time to back up while the T28 defender loads. And then the T28 defender's got a big problem here. He's got a massive drum reload that he's doing right now. And this is why I am not the biggest fan of the T28 defender. I do play it, don't love it. Our hero here just continues to push, and he is going to try to make sure that T28 defender, who has -10 gun depression as well, so he could get shots into him, doesn't. And he blocked it there with a cannon. There it is. He continues to use APCR when needed. That was an unfortunate shot. I would have shot him in the turret and at the side, but who the hell knows? This is a crazy one-on-one battle. Here, he hits the NOS, and I should have mentioned that you do need to use the special equipment that is coming with the tank. And he's using that really so that he can close the tank, ram him if needed, and just have better positioning. And there is, he backs up there, turns it, and by the way, that helps with turret speed as well. Turns it, shoots him, finishes him off, 1-on-2. What a game, what a finish. Terrific playing here by the ultimate player. Congratulations on that game, very impressive. Overall, T32 is a very good tank. It's been definitely outpowered and out-muscled by the terrific gold tanks out there, but I still encourage you to take it, play it, and enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel.